Welcome to the Becks, a podcast that explores multimedia horror with host Becky and Sydney. Join us as we talk about movies, books, video games, music, and much, much more.
Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow.
And we're the Becks. What are we talking about today?
The Babysitter. Another funny comedy horror movie that you chose.
I did.
I don't know that it was so funny.
You didn't? I was laughing my ass off throughout this whole
it was
movie.
funny. It was super gory.
Yeah, it was pretty graphic.
Yeah, it was more than I anticipated. I was like, holy Hannah.
Tucker and Dale was pretty graphic, though.
Yeah, but I knew that one.
You have a dude
This one
going
I didn't
through.
know.
There's no wood chipper deaths in this movie.
No. Sure isn't. Anyway, The Babysitter. Starts out so innocent and unassuming.
It does. Okay, so the main character is Cole. He's 12. And he is bullied. He's picked on. He's not very cool. He has, one friend.
Yeah. He's just not a tough guy. He's kind of a...
Pussy!
Well, that's what I asked his mom. Am I a pussy? She's like, do you know what that means? But
he's like, yeah, it's somebody that's scared of everybody. And then what I thought was funny is he was like, and I'm quoting here, he said, Mom, I know that pussy also means vagina. I'm not retarded. And his mom yells at him. She's like, Cole! We don't say the R word. We don't say that word. She has no problem with him saying pussy, but
no, but yeah.
That's good parenting. That's what
there
I
you
say.
go. But anyway, yeah. So he's kind of a skinny kid that gets picked on and bullied, and
Technically, I guess he has two friends because he's friends with his babysitter.
yeah, who's much older. And it's weird that he has a babysitter because he's 12 and nobody else has a babysitter. But
Yeah, his friend gets to stay home alone when her dad goes out on dates, I think I stopped having a babysitter when I was 11. I was pretty responsible as a kid, though.
I don't remember, but I know by the age of 12, my parents had a store and I was home alone every night after school. So I would make dinners and stuff, and that's all I remember. I don't remember really when.
What about when your boys were growing up? How old were they when you stopped having a babysitter?
12, I think Jake was, when he started watching Keegan because my mom got really sick. I probably would have still had him go to my mom's because Jake was Jake.
Mm.
And started getting in trouble at about 11 because he had bad friends. He chose bad friends. Not that they were bad, but he chose to hang around the bad kids. So, we lived in town, so he could go, oh, Mom, can I walk here? Sure, I trust you. That was my first mistake. So, but yeah, at least when he had to babysit, it kept him home a little bit longer and out of trouble. But yeah, my mom got real sick. So 12, Jake was first time they stayed home alone. Yep. I think legally there is an age, but I'm not really sure what it is.
Let's Google it. So what should we ask? Should we ask how old can kids stay home alone?
Yeah.
So Google says the National Safe Kids campaign recommends that children under 12 should generally not be left alone.
Okay. So see, I did good.
So there doesn't seem to be an agreed upon age.
Oh, some states do have a minimum age. Illinois is 14.
Oh, wow.
Michigan is 11.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder why it differs by...
Some of them are 9 and 8 and 6.
Are they southern states?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird. I wonder how I guessed that one.
In Kansas at 6 years old, you're going to leave a 6-year-old home alone legally.
Fuck off, Kansas. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and then North Carolina, Maryland, and Georgia is 8. North Dakota is 9. Washington, Tennessee, Oregon, and New Mexico, 10 years.
Wow.
See, I think that's young.
I feel like
I think 12's a good age. 12, they're, a little bit more mature and still not, but still, I don't know, man. 6?
Yeah, that's way too young. There's no way. That's scary.
That would be like Hank being left home alone. That's a year younger than Hank.
Oh, I don't like that.
But anyways, yeah, that would be... That's only 2 years older than Dexter.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God. He would burn the house down.
He would.
Not like maliciously.
No, but they're a child. That's bad Kansas.
Cole even mentions in the movie, I can't remember if it's his mom that talks about how it's like, oh, do your friends not have babysitters? Maybe it's B. And he's like, yeah, they usually make fun of me, but then they see her and they get jealous because his babysitter's hot.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
She's played by Samara Weaving, who's also in another horror comedy, Ready or Not, I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Good actress.
Yeah, she is.
So his friend kind of makes fun of him for thinking pretty naively that B just goes to bed when he does. Or maybe she stays up a little later than he does, but she doesn't do anything. Why would she...
Sydney's beeping.
Shut up! I'm diabetic. I'm allowed to beep. I'm fine. I had 2 cookies. Yeah, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't invite boys over.
And she's like, she 100% invites boys over to have sex when you're sleeping.
Yeah. So she convinces him, like, hey, stay awake tonight when she comes over to babysit you. Like, don't go to bed. Stay up. Wait a couple hours. See what happens. So you see a little bit of their relationship. B is super cool. She's like the coolest, like most ideal babysitter that you could think of.
Yeah, she's like his big friend. Like they have fun and she really cares about him and protects him and
yeah, they act along to like a movie in the backyard and she makes him pizza and they have like a dance party and she's just really fucking cool.
They pick an intergalactic team.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And she treats him like a peer.
Yeah, like an equal.
Yeah, she doesn't condescend to him at all. She even kind of saves him from bullies early on in the movie. She's just really cool.
Uh-huh.
And
then she's not so cool.
She's not so cool. Oh, yeah, the coolest thing is that she's like, he tells her, he's like, oh, I'm not ready to go to bed yet. And she's like, tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. Like, because it's already late. He had agreed upon bedtime with his parents. But she's cool, so she let him stay up later.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, tell you what, like, I'll make you a shot. And I'll make you sleepy. And he's like, make it a double.
But he knows he's going to stay up.
Yeah. She fixes him a double shot and brings it out. And he's like, oh, you're not going to do one with me? And she said, okay. So she goes back in the kitchen. And when she's in the kitchen, he dumps it into a plant. And then when she comes back in, he, like, pretends to cough. And she says, oh, you did it without me? Lame. And she quickly does a shot. And then, she goes and tucks him up in bed. And he pretends to go to sleep. But then, a little while later, he hears the doorbell ring. So he sneaks out. And there's a whole bunch of fucking people in his house.
Yeah.
It's not like a house party. There's like 4 or 5 people.
Is there 5 or 6? I'm trying to think. I was counting them in my head. I know you were looking at me funny. I was counting them to try and remember. But they're all sitting downstairs. Like, he can see them from the landing upstairs, the upstairs balcony. He can see them down in the living room, and they're all sitting in a circle playing Spin the Bottle. But it's not Spin the Bottle. They're playing Truth or Dare with the bottle. So
there's Samuel, who's the newcomer.
He's a really geeky looking kind of guy. Just totally doesn't look like he fits in with the rest of them.
Yeah, there's Max, who's like the quarterback, stereotypical beefy guy. John, who's kind of the comedic relief, sort of. I mean, the whole movie is funny, but he's like the funny friend, I guess you could say. Sonia, who, she's crazy.
Yeah.
She's weird. She's like the art house one. And then there's a cheerleader played by Bella Thorne, who I can't remember her name. I don't know why. So with B, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. There ends up being 5.
Okay.
And then it goes down from there.
Yeah. I thought there were 6.
So it's kind of... So he texts his friend, and he's like, yeah, B didn't bring just one person over. There's a group of them. And his friend, her name's Melanie. She's like, oh my God, they're going to have an orgy. So he sneaks out of his bedroom and goes to watch. And it just seems like a very typical, like, gathering of teenagers. They're playing...
Truth or Dare with spin the bottle.
Yeah.
They spin the bottle, and whoever it lands on, they have to pick Truth or Dare.
Mm-hmm. And so they mess around with that a little bit. It ends up landing on B, and they dare her to kiss everybody in the room. And, you know, she plays it up for laughs or sexiness or whatever. And she finally gets to Samuel, who, again, he's the newcomer. He's the outsider. He's
super nervous. He's awkward.
Yeah, very sweet. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Not in front of everybody. Everybody's staring at me. It's weird. And she consoles him or whatever. She talks him into it, which I didn't like.
I know. She's like, it's okay. Just pretend it's just you and me. And she was really pushy.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But she ends up kissing the shit out of him. And he's like starstruck totally. And then she puts 2 butcher knives in the back of his head.
Yeah, pretty much just right through, yeah.
Yeah, totally kills him. And they start... Cole's watching. He's totally shocked, obviously.
I don't know how he didn't scream, but it's a movie, so that's probably how. But no, bad. So bad. The guy's still alive.
Yeah, he's screaming.
Yeah.
They're gathering his blood in a goblet.
Yeah.
It's ritualistic killing. B has this big scary book, and it's so fucked up. Cole, again, freaking out. He goes back into his room and calls the police immediately, which I was like, yes, okay. When I first watched this movie, I was convinced that they were going to be able to distract the cops or something. Like, the cops were going to blow it off or, you know.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. It totally derails from here. So he goes back out to watch them because he's on the phone with the dispatcher, and she's like, are the attackers still in the house? And he's like, yeah, you know, and he's like, I gotta protect myself. And the dispatcher is like, no, do not do that. But he hangs up on her, and he grabs a fucking pocket knife.
Yeah, a pocket knife, a tiny little pocket knife.
Like the dinkiest little pocket knife that you can picture. That's what he had. And he goes back out onto the landing to see what they're doing. And B reveals that the next step is to mix the blood of the sacrificed with the blood of the innocent. Which he connects the dots. And
yeah, and she says that she drugged him so much that he's like just a blood bag for them. They can drain him of however much blood they need, whenever they need him. And
yeah.
So that makes him freak out even more.
Yeah, it's established earlier on in the movie that he's extremely scared of needles.
Yes. Oh, yeah. When he went to have his flu shot in the beginning, he was terrified.
Poor guy. He literally, like, screamed from getting this flu shot.
Yes.
Now, I don't have a phobia of needles. I definitely don't like getting shots or giving blood. Like, I don't like it. I don't know anybody who does, but I don't have, like, a phobia of it. My brother Adam has a phobia of needles. Real bad.
My late husband did too. When he was a kid, he had to outgrow that because as he got older and was sick. But he had a horrible phobia. His brother had to chase him down and hold him down to get his vaccinations when he was a kid.
Good Lord.
He literally ran out of the room screaming.
Oh.
His older brother had to hold him down.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Having to hold somebody down for that. That's like traumatic in itself.
Right?
God.
Yeah.
Dang, that's awful. So I do have other phobias, though, and I know it's no joke. So when he pretends to be asleep because he can hear them coming. And he had, like, tied up a sheet. He was going to try to escape.
Yeah, he was going to climb out the window, tie it to his bed, and climb down.
But it was too late. So he leaves.
They were coming for his blood.
He jumps back into the bed and pretends to be asleep. And they...
Like, they have this giant old needle, like...
Well, Sonya brought it, because she's a fucking weirdo.
So it's this big, huge, weird needle, and they stick it in his arm, and he doesn't even move because he's pretending to be drugged up, because he knows he's supposed to be drugged up. Mm-hmm. And they take his blood.
Well, she misses the fucking...
Yeah, the first...
vein at first. So she's, like, digging around in his arm. Oh, it's horrible. Even I was squeeging out because it was... rough.
Yeah, I don't know how he stayed still, being afraid of needles as it was. Poor kid.
So they all leave, and as soon as they're gone, he waits like a couple of seconds, and he goes to climb out the window, but he ends up passing out because of the adrenaline crash, and then also he was up all night the night before.
Yeah.
Watching Mad Men. Because his dad told him it was too adult for him. So he was like, wanna bet? So he wakes up and he's tied up downstairs and everyone's staring at him. Max doesn't have a shirt on anymore.
Yeah, that's the first thing Cole says. Why doesn't he have a shirt on?
And so he starts getting grilled, basically, about, why was he trying to sneak out? And he says, I was going out to smoke in the woods. And, of course, no one believes him because it's Cole.
Yeah. She knows better. B knows better.
So he just says that he wanted to know what B did when he went to bed. And he was apologizing for interrupting their orgy.
Yeah.
Which he knew was kind of like... He played it smart. He wasn't admitting to witnessing anything... murdery.
No.
And so he kind of threw out the innocence card, kind of. He was living up to B's friends' expectations of him in a way to where it would misdirect them. Like, he doesn't know what an orgy is. It's funny,
Mm-hmm.
haha. Well, he almost gets away with it, but then the cops come.
Yeah.
Which, that response time... so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And B's like, did you call the cops, Cole?
She's pissed.
Yeah.
You can tell. And so...
And apparently this whole ritual that they're doing is so they can all get whatever they want. Mm-hmm. So it's supposed to grant them whatever wishes they have by dealing with the devil.
Yeah.
So.
Which they do talk more about the specifics of the book and whatnot in the sequel, but in this one they don't talk about consequences, which I find interesting because in other movies there's always a focus on how deals with the devil never work out, and there's always unseen circumstances. It's like the genie wish, right? Like you have to be very exact in your wording or, what have you. They don't talk about that at all. It seems like B just does these sacrifices and gets whatever she wants. Yeah. And so she's sharing it with these people for some reason, I guess because she likes them. She's way cooler than they all are, though.
Yeah,
that was
true.
One thing I had a hard time with in the movie. It's like these... I guess, obviously she acts differently around Cole. That's totally possible. But just based on her personality and how funny she was, like, she quoted The Godfather when they were doing Spin the Bottle. Nobody else got it except Cole.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like the people that she was hanging around were very shallow and weird. And they don't reveal what everyone's wishes are. We just learn about John's. He's like a SoundCloud rapper, so he wants to blow up there. And then the cheerleader girl, she wants to be like a journalist, actually.
Journalist. Yep.
But I don't think they really talk about anybody else.
No.
And I don't know if B herself is participating in the ritual or if she's just showing them how to do it. And she has the book, so why not? I don't know. But anyway, that's when they kind of cotton on to the fact that, oh, yeah, Cole knows that they murdered somebody. And when the cops bust in the door, Cole's, like, screaming for help. John is freaking out because he's like, I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to die, or both. It's like, I can't go to jail, I can't die, whatever. And the cops are going to, like, shoot them. Because they obviously have, like, one of them has blood all over him. They don't say, the dead body isn't in the room anymore, but Cole's tied up. Like, it's a fucked up, weird situation. Yeah. And Cole said when he called 911 that these people just killed this person in my house. Like,
oh my God, the funniest part was where he was using his pocket knife to try and cut through the very thick ropes that they had.
Yeah. And
they were making fun of him because they were like, oh, look at him, he's still cutting.
Yeah, because there was like a mirror in the living room that you could just see his reflection. Mm-hmm. And he just kept doing it. And they didn't try to stop him.
No, they thought it was cute.
Yeah. It was really funny. Mm-hmm. So the cops start trying to shoot people. The cheerleader girl gets shot in the boob. And Max ends up taking a fire poker and fucking throwing it at one of the cops and just spears him through the head.
Right through the eyeball.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always through the eyeball, man. Yeah. We can't escape it.
Sydney loves eyeball horror.
It's the one thing that may put me on the floor because I get squeezy about it. Like,
you get squeezy?
You know what
she gets squeezy.
Fuck, I mean.
She says squeezy a lot for queasy.
I don't know. Giggle. I don't know. I think I'm like, it's squeamish and queasy. I'm like.
So it's squeezy. That's our new word. That's going to go on the blooper page.
Oh.
TikTok, here comes the squeezy. Anyway, back to the movie.
Yeah, they kill the cops.
Yeah, like slaughter them.
And Cole does get free.
Yes, he does.
And while they're all arguing because the cops are dead now and, like, the situation's really going out of control, like, they thought that they would just make the one sacrifice and everything would be fine. Like, they would get away with it, whatever. And she's freaking out about her boob, which is fair.
Yeah, she's very upset about her boob.
I would be.
Who would want to be with someone that has one bad boob?
One deflated, grossly scarred, whatever boob, you know? Which is just silly.
Yes, but...
Like, she was really... Like, there's so much cosmetic surgery that can fix stuff like that. It would have been fine. Also, they could still make their wish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she could be like...
Fix my boob.
Well, or if you're a successful enough journalist, you can just pay for a boob job. Like, it's, you know... I don't know. But so Cole uses the distraction to try to run away. John and Max immediately try to run after him. And John almost catches him, but he pushes John off the banister. And he falls onto some kind of trophy. It goes right through his neck. And
What?
Oh, it was gruesome. He dies. Yeah. And Cole's obviously very shocked about that. He runs into his room, he grabs a sheet, he tosses it out of his window. It doesn't quite reach the ground. But, I mean, it's closer, because he's on the second floor bedroom, so it's closer. And while he's climbing down it, Max comes and is pulling him up.
Yep.
Max was a great character for me. I thought he was so funny.
He was hilarious.
Definitely super psychotic. But his motivations were just all over the place and super weird. He kept making fun of Cole, kind of like his bullies did. But he would also, like, encourage Cole, like, come on, run faster. I'll give you a head start, whatever. And Cole each time is like, dude, you're the fucking quarterback. Yeah. Like, it's kind of a little bit, it feels, in a different movie, like in a not comedy horror, it would feel like Max is playing with Cole, which he is, but it's not malicious. Like, he's trying to get to Cole to kill him, but the teasing is not malicious, if that makes sense. I know it's fucking weird and...
No, it is. I get what you're saying. Because, yeah, I think he genuinely was trying to encourage him to be faster, to be better, to stand up for himself, all this stuff. But, yeah, in the end, he just wanted to kill him, so it didn't really matter. But, yeah, he was trying to be big brotherly. It just was a really strange big brother.
Yeah. So, he's trying to pull up the sheet. Cole ends up falling. Knocks the wind right out of him. And Max is like, take deep breaths. And Cole finally gets up and Max tells him, like, oh, I'm going to get you. He runs into, like, a shed and hides out in there. And he finds a bunch of stuff that's going to help him later on. He finds a firework, a lighter, bug spray.
Big firework.
A blanket. And he goes into the crawl space, which they established earlier on in the movie that it's full of, like, tarantulas and rats and shit. It's like totally infested.
Yeah, his mom was down there setting rat traps and she came out like covered in cobwebs and there were big spiders crawling around and he's like, I need to go in there and spray and kill them. And his mom was like, well, why? They're not hurting you. They're going to eat other nasty bugs. And I'm thinking if I have tarantulas living in my crawl space, I'm burning the house down and leaving. But
well, something kind of similar happens.
Yeah, true.
So he decides to hide in the crawl space. He has to unscrew the screen.
It's like a grate. Yeah, it's like a metal grate screen thing.
And
he has to use a drill.
Yeah.
To get the screws out.
Which was tense, because I'm like, that's noisy.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to come get him while he's trying to get in there. But nothing happens. He's able to replace the grate. And he goes to, like, the very far end of the crawl space, covers himself up with a blanket, avoiding the rat traps and tarantulas as he goes. Yeah, it's gruesome.
No, thank you.
Well, Sonya ends up cottoning on to the fact that he went into the crawl space. She doesn't know exactly where he is in the crawl space. She keeps, like, jumping at places to see if it'll spook him. And he... there ends up being a tarantula crawling on him. That Sonya is like, oh, it's so beautiful, you beautiful boy. She's so weird.
She is really weird.
And, because when they tied him up, and he was first waking up from fainting, she fed him the cookie, and that was just so weird. She did it in the weirdest way possible. So, she's petting this tarantula or whatever. Somebody from outside the crawl space calls to her, and she goes to leave. And he's freaked out by the tarantula, so he, like, bops it off the blanket, and it lands in a trap. Well, then she knows that he's there.
Yeah.
And she tries to... What does she have? She has some sharp implement. Was it a needle?
I don't remember.
Or scissors? Or something? Either way, she's trying to kill him very hard. And... they kind of grapple for a bit, and he pushes her off her, and both of her hands land in rat traps. Which, ouch. Oh my god.
No,
And he lights the firework, but it misses her. But it's still like, the fuse is still lit.
Yeah.
So, it's still slowly burning. It's just stuck in like a dirt pile or whatever. He runs for the exit to the crawl space and screws the grate back in place as soon as he's gone.
Yeah.
And she's like stabbing through, I think it's just a knife that she has.
Yep, I'm pretty sure
she's stabbing through the grates and like, I'm gonna kill you, Cole, blah, 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 whatever. And he sprays her with bug spray to get her away from it. And then the firework fucking explodes. And it blows him backwards. Like, that's how much of an explosion it is. But then she says, I'm still alive, you fucker! But then a second explosion happens. And she's totally dead. And Cole again has gotten the wind knocked out of him. And Max comes out of the fog. And it's like, did you just blow up Sonya? And Cole says, yep. Max is like, dude, that's awesome. Good for you. And that's when he says, hey, man, I'll give you a head start. And Cole is like, dude, you're the quarterback. And Max says, life ain't fair. So he starts running. He actually drops to trip Max. And then he tries to...
because remember, B told him, when they're chasing after you, just drop. and then kick him in the balls.
Yeah.
So he drops, and Max falls, and he kicks him, and Max jumps up and is like, "You missed my dick!" He's like, "No, I didn't."
He's like, "I'm pretty sure you did." And Cole makes a quip about him maybe not having that big of a dick or something like that. Well, he runs up into...
His treehouse.
No, not yet.
Oh.
First, he, they're, grappling or something. Max is, suffocating him. He's choking him.
Oh, that's right.
And that's when...
He hears the noise, like...
The bully.
He's like, "What is that? Is that eggs? Are they egging your house?"
And Max is so mad for Cole. He's like, "No, you were going to confront them right now. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to have some balls, you know?
This is your family's home. You need to protect it.
You're going to let him disrespect your family like that?" So he literally
just lets him go.
He lets Cole go and watches as he goes out and tries to confront his bully, which doesn't work out. He tries to tell his bully, "Hey, literally people are trying to kill me. You have to help me." And he doesn't. He just puts an egg on his face and
the bully punches him, doesn't he?
Yeah. Knocks him on the ground. And Max comes up and is like, "Well, at least you stood up for yourself."
He's like, "But next time you need to just punch him. You're using too many words or something."
Yeah, you talk too much, something like that. And he's like... Cole takes off running again, and this time he goes to his... he punches Max in the face or something. And
he does.
Yeah.
He punches him when he runs, because he does what he told him to. He's like, "Yeah, just like that."
Yeah. Again, he's still, encouraging him. He runs for his treehouse. He gets up in his treehouse, and it's, they're deconstructing it. It's very, old and dilapidated. And he kicks the rungs off. They're that... rotten. He's just able to kick him off while Max just climbs up the tree and ends up in the tree house. And Max is like, "Oh, it's the end of the line, man." And he's like, you fought with honor. I'm not you're dying like a man. I respect that." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna let you die with egg on your face." And he's cleaning up his face and stuff. And then I don't remember how it happens. I don't know if he pushes Max or something. He hurts him somehow. Max lets go of him. He goes to climb down or jump down from the tree. Oh, Max gets rope wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, when they fall. Yeah, they both fall. They're grappling and they fall.
Yeah.
And Max gets the rope wrapped around his neck and snaps his neck.
His spine comes out of his neck because there's blood and stuff on Cole, and Cole's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
You know? So then it's just him and B.
And the babysitter. Or in the cheerleader.
Yeah.
She's still alive, wandering around.
Well, she's passed out. He thinks she's dead.
Yeah, because she was bleeding pretty good from the boob.
He goes back into the house and is looking around, and the house is dark and it's cleaned up. There's no blood anywhere. The cops are gone. The police car is gone. Everything's gone. Mm-hmm. And that's really that really freaks him out. Cheerleader is the only evidence left that something weird happened, and she's kind of dead, or he thinks she is.
Yeah. He's checking her breathing and leaning real close.
But she ends up following him into the kitchen and is trying to kill him. This is the thing. I understand that he caused a lot of trouble for them, but at a certain point, you can just, if he's running away, just finish the fucking ritual and then disperse. You know what I mean?
Yes, they were in his house doing a satanic ritual. Yeah, he's going to cause problems. Leave the poor kid alone.
Yeah, and they could have taken his blood and
left.
Went somewhere else to finish the ritual, it didn't need to happen at his house.
And if they got everything they wished for, then they could just wish that he didn't remember any of it and it was all taken care of.
Yeah.
Right? No, it had to be a big fiasco. Teenagers.
So, he tries to look for a knife. Sonya finds it. Or not Sonya.
Sonya's blown up.
Yeah. I don't remember what the cheerleader's name is. I really can't. I don't even know if they name her. They have to, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, because they did a scroll, like they introduced every character. She tries to kill him. She gets really close, and then her head fucking explodes. B kills her with the shotgun. And like it's super graphic. Cole is covered in blood. Super fucked. And
Allison.
oh yeah, that's right. It's Allison. Yeah, the cheerleader's name is Allison.
Yes.
We'll edit that out and put it back where all the other named people are at the beginning. It's flawless.
Yes, the cheerleader's name is Allison.
Allison. It's Allison. Well, actually, we missed the part where B is actively hunting Cole. It's shortly after he killed, well, Max dies. I don't want to say Cole killed him.
Yeah, he didn't really kill him, yeah.
But he actually runs over to his friend's house, Melanie. Her dad's not home. His car's there, but he's on, like, some date.
Is that before or after the babysitter's dead? I mean, why do I keep saying the babysitter? Before or after the cheerleader's death? Is that after? It's
before.
Okay.
Because he, like, threatens to burn the book after Allison dies.
Oh, that's right.
That's, like, the final part of the movie. But, so Melanie's like, oh, my God, what's wrong with you? And he's like, everything is crazy. It wasn't an orgy. It was like a satanic cult thing. And she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, you're home alone? And she's like, yeah, I don't need a babysitter.
And her mom and dad got divorced. Yeah. And her dad drives this big old muscle car and acts like he's a real stud. And
it's so obnoxious.
He's so obnoxious. He's
the worst.
So you gotta know about the big old muscle car. He wouldn't let Cole ride home the one day.
Yeah, just to give him a ride home.
Yeah. He's like, do your parents expect you to ride the bus? He's like, well, yeah, probably. Well then, buddy, you should probably ride the bus. Sorry, can't get in my car.
They literally live across the street from each other.
And then he just revs the engine and is like, hey, and takes off.
Yeah, what was that? Vroom, vroom. What'd you say?
Yeah. Just he's obnoxious.
Piece of shit, yeah.
Thinks the car gets him women.
So B is literally hunting them around the house. It's very tense.
Yeah, because they didn't lock the door. He's like, does your door lock automatically? She's like, no.
Nope.
No. So they were hiding in her house, and she was stalking them with the shotgun.
Yeah. And eventually B does leave, and so does Cole. He's trying to, like, lure her back out, and that's when he gets in the house, and Allison, he thinks is dead. Allison goes through the whole knife thing. He tries to reason with her.
Yeah, he's like, you'll be all right. Your boob will be okay. You can still have your career as a journalist.
You're beautiful and smart. This. Yeah, like, it'll be fine. And she's like, you mean we can go back and just pretend like none of this happened and we can just go our separate ways? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, fuck you! And then tries to kill him even harder. But, yeah, so that's when B comes in and blows her brains apart. And Cole is really upset. This is one of my favorite parts of the movies because I feel like it's funny and kind of not lighthearted, but, the movie's a comedy.
Yeah, no, it is.
But at the points where it's really trying to drive home an emotional point, it does an excellent job. Because the acting is so good, and Cole and B have really good on-screen chemistry. Like, they really seem like friends.
The heater?
It wasn't that. It was downstairs, I think.
Oh. No, they are really good friends, and it sucks because he feels that he's been betrayed, and she lied to him, and she used him. And she did. She was using him for his blood.
And he even calls out that line specifically, like, you call me a blood bag, and she says, you heard that? And he's like, oh, I'm not the first kid, am I? So he's not special.
Yeah. Which she made him feel very special. He thought she was his friend.
Yeah. He was a lonely kid. He literally only had 2 friends in the whole world. He had Melanie, and he had B. And he grabs the book and threatens to burn it. And that's when he kind of gets the whole explanation from her. Like, yeah, I made a deal with Satan. I guess her point is to get more souls for Satan.
Yeah, it probably would be.
So she's able to keep her whatever, and Because she says to Cole, she was like, I used to be like you, lost and alone, but this gave me purpose or, whatever.
Yeah.
And she actually tries to get him to join her.
Yeah, she said no more bullying, no more feeling out of place.
Yeah, she's
you can
like,
have everything you want.
It'll be me and you against the world. And he says something to the effect like, I thought it was already like that. I thought we already had that. He says, actually, I already have a different plan. And he lights the book on fire, throws it, runs out of the house, runs across the street, steals the guy's muscle car.
Because the guy left his keys in the muscle car, which you love a car that much, but just leave them up under the visor.
Yeah, like the classic place you leave cars. It's such a movie trope. I wonder, do people do that in real life?
Some people do.
They have to, right? Where else does a trope come from, right? But I can't
not do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these days with, like, the key fobs, they're not actual keys anymore. Yeah. So I guess it depends.
But if you have an old muscle car. Yeah.
So he steals it, and he drives this fucker into his house.
Now, he was terrified to drive earlier in the movie. His dad was trying to teach him to drive, and he was terrified. He's like, Dad, do you know how many teenagers get killed a year? And on and on.
Yeah.
And so he was terrified. He put it in park, or in drive, and then he put it back in park, and his dad had to switch it because he wouldn't drive.
Yeah.
And so he was terrified, but here he jumps in this car and takes off like a bat out of hell.
Yeah. And he rams it into the house and hits B. And B this whole time has been she's been screaming, trying to get the book to stop burning. And he gets out of the car, and she is underneath the car. She's, like, dying. And this was, like, a really emotional part of the movie for me. I can't do it justice, like, recounting it. You just need to watch the movie. But she mentions, like, hey, you never told me what your intergalactic space dream team was or whatever. And he names off a couple of characters, and then he says, and then it was me and you. And she says, she kind of laughs, and she says, I didn't know that we could include ourselves, And he's like, it's science fiction. You can do anything.
Yeah.
The scene when I first watched this movie made me cry.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very intense. I mean, that she was supposed to be one of his best friends. He loved her. He loved her.
Yeah, he
thought she loved him, but...
He says that.
Yeah. It was sad.
Yeah. And, the cops do come again. Mm-hmm. She, like, when Max and Sonia and everybody else was chasing him, she was actually taking care of the cops' bodies in the cop cars. Like, she ditched it somewhere. So, but the fire department comes. I mean, he crashed a fucking car into his house. And there was the explosion earlier and the sound of gunshots.
Yeah, and there's a guy hanging from a tree.
Yeah, like, it's not a very...
Yeah.
It's not very subtle things that are happening there. And
no.
His friend, I'm sure, called the cops again after he left her house.
Probably did. Yep.
And that's...
And then the dad was there. The dad that owned the car, the muscle car. And all he could do was complain about his car. He's like, charges should be pressed. They stole my car. Wasn't even concerned with all the dead people laying around, but...
Yeah,
just about his car.
Melanie, like, leans over and kisses Cole on the cheek, and he's like, what was that? Did you put your face on his face? You want to go and get tattoos now? What the fuck is wrong with you?
He's like, you get away from him right now.
He's a deviant. He stole my car. Whatever. And that's how the movie ends. Good stuff.
It was funny.
It is genuinely, like I said, super funny movie. Great actors. And like I said, when they're trying to make an emotional point, they just do it really effectively. I don't know. Like, it literally kind of hurts your feelings a little bit.
Yeah.
You're in Cole's shoes, and you just really get the sense of betrayal and sadness, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a little bit heart-wrenching for that poor kid. But that's okay. He'll be cool now.
Yeah, he went through some fucking character development in this movie.
No kidding.
Turned into a little badass at the end there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's The Babysitter. There is a sequel on Netflix. It's good. I don't think we'll talk about it, at least not right now, but maybe in the future. Because it is worth watching. It's not as good as the first one, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
So I think next time we're going to be talking about Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead?
Shaun of the Dead.
I don't know where she came from. Shaun of the Dead is up next, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So how many weeks do we have left in October?
So we'll be uploading this one for Thursday. Shaun of the Dead will be the next Thursday. Get out of my way.
This Thursday next. So we have Halloween. Oh, we got to do something really special for Halloween.
We'll have to think about it.
Maybe it'll be like a collaboration.
Oh?
I don't know. We got to do something.
Well, chew on that, listeners.
I've already watched Hocus Pocus twice, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love Hocus Pocus.
Like this year?
Like this year, yeah.
Like this season?
Yeah. Not really, like, sit and watch it, but have it on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. Yeah, for sure.
It's such a comfort movie.
I gotta watch Halloween Town, too. That used to be a thing for me and the kids.
So, James's friend, Jonas, he always did Halloween movie marathons. And it would be like multiple days and just back-to-back movies. And he started to make these wheels. And he called them Wheels of Pain. Because they were all just terrible movies. And there were some wheels that, like, had good stuff on it. It wasn't all terrible. But the vast majority of it was bad things. And one of the movies that was bad was Halloween Town 2.
Oh, Halloween Town 2 is bad.
It's awful.
It is so bad. But Halloween Town's good.
Halloween Town is good. But
Halloween Town 2 is not great. Yeah. No.
And James got so angry. Like, he was just fuming throughout this whole movie. Like, he had to get up and, like, he was chain smoking in one of the back bedrooms because he was just so angry about the movie. It was good times.
So Halloween, that one's to be determined. We'll have a really good upload for that one. Not that everything isn't a great upload, but Halloween's different.
Halloween's what it's all about, baby. And this is the Becks' first Halloween as an official podcast.
Truth.
So we really need to load up, get something good.
Maybe we should do a scary location rather than a movie.
Well, we'll have opportunity this weekend to go somewhere or do something.
Yeah, Sydney and I are heading out to do some fall activities for our birthdays.
Yep.
Because hers was the 7th and mine's coming up on the 29th, so
Yep.
we're going to go spend a day doing apple orchards and free meals and stuff.
Spooky things.
Yes. Spirit of Halloween is the stop that I got to make.
Do you call it Spirit of Halloween?
Yeah. Isn't it Spirit of Halloween?
The store?
Yeah.
Is Spirit Halloween.
Isn't it?
Yes.
It is?
No,
Is it really?
it's just Spirit Halloween.
I don't know.
I thought you had said it earlier, but I was like, no. But then when
Maybe
you just
just
said
because
it.
it's like I'm old. Yeah, it is Spirit of Halloween. I don't know why I say Spirit of Halloween. I don't think I used to. That's weird. Anyways.
You're being possessed by the spirit of Halloween.
Maybe. Oh my, that's a horrible, horrible mask that I just pulled up when I searched Spirit Halloween.
I hate that. How much is it?
$12.99.
Oh, damn. We should
At
buy
Spirit
that.
Halloween.
We should buy that for everybody at the office.
Can you even see? That must be the big eyes. We're looking at a mask that has nothing but eyeballs on the face. Oh yeah, yep, you can.
Oh, I don't like that. The
I
longer
think I need to order it now.
the longer I
need
look
to
at
order
it, the more I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfy.
It says you'll be sure to have all eyes on you at the next costume party.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I might have to have that.
Today the pod, tomorrow the world. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow that doesn't know how to say Spirit Halloween.
Spirit of Halloween.
Not Spirit of Halloween, it's Spirit Halloween.
I know that. Do you?
I said that doesn't know how to say it.
We're the Becks.